Hello everyone, this is a new series of tutorials where I'm going to be showing you how I go about farming credits at the new Thargoid Spire sites that were added to Elite Dangerous Odyssey in update 17. There are going to be 3 videos in this series. This first one is about preparation. Being prepared before you jump into the Thargoid Spires is the biggest difference between success and failure, so you need to get this part right. First and most important, I would say, is to find as large a group as you can to join in with whilst farming a Thargoid Spire site. I would recommend the Anti-Xeno Initiative, or AXI, as they specialise in this area and they are actively farming these sites. You can find them in their Discord server, which I will leave an invite link for in the description below. I joined them in their Discord to farm credits for myself over a 3-day period. During that time, there were between 20 to 30 commanders in voice chats, all coordinating to farm the Thargoids as efficiently as possible. Their help and guidance is invaluable, so if you want to farm credits at these sites, I would highly recommend joining in with them. You don't have to talk if you don't want to, you can just join the voice channel and listen. You can pick up what is going on that way if you prefer, but the guys there are really friendly and more than willing to help you Thargoid hunters out. The next thing you're going to need to decide on is what ship and build you are going to use. This will depend on whether it is just you and maybe 1 or 2 friends, or if you are with a large group like with AXI. If it's just you and maybe a couple of friends, then at least one of you will need high DPS weapons. These include Guardian Plasma Charges, Guardian Shard Cannons, or Guardian Ghost Cannons. I haven't tried them, but I am told by experienced players over at the AXI Discord that the Guardian Plasma Charges are the most effective high DPS weapons, although many do also choose the Guardian Shard Cannons. The Guardian Ghost Cannons seem to be the least popular of the bunch. Whatever ship you use will need to be fully engineered, have good hull strength and a good amount of weapon hardpoints, as you want as much DPS as possible. If you are playing with a large group like AXI, then there are likely going to be several people in the instance that already have high DPS weapons, so you won't need them in that case. When joining the AXI voice chat, just ask if anyone has DPS builds in the instance already. There will usually be at least a few. Presuming that there are already DPS build ships in the instance, you can really use whatever weapons you like, although you do want at least 1 long-range laser with thermal vent. With the large number of commanders in the same instance, all coordinating to attack the Thargoids tend to go down fairly quickly. The 2 biggest issues you will have is reaching each Thargoid and getting a few good hits on its hull before they explode, so long range lasers and a fairly fast ship are what you want the most. Beyond that, any weapon that does AX damage is a bonus. When it comes to what ship to use when you're with a large group, most of them will do the job. I've seen mostly crates, chieftains, corvettes and anacondas, but I've also seen cutters, clippers and federal assault ships. I've even seen a Type 10 in there. Just remember though, with slower ships, you are not going to be able to get to every Thargoid before it explodes. Other things that you may want are limpets, repair and or decontamination limpets, or the new caustic sink launchers. Of course you will also want some cargo space for the limpets. If you don't take decontamination limpets or the caustic sink launchers, then you could just overheat your ship to burn off the caustic damage, but you're then going to need AFMUs to repair the damage to the modules. Personally, I'd go with the limpets or caustic sink launchers. If you're wanting to use more than 3 of the AX weapons, then you will also need one of the experimental weapon stabilizers. If you are using the Guardian weapons, as in a DPS build, then you'll also want 1 or more AFMUs, as the Guardian weapons will end up getting damaged by the Thargoids. If you're going to be taking the Banshees down, then you may also want a planetary vehicle hangar and an SRV or 2. Whether you install a shield on your ship or not is personal preference. If you have a hull tank ship build, then you should be fine, but shields work out fine as well, so it's entirely your choice. I'm not going to recommend specific ships, as many of them will do you well. My personal ship of choice though is my beloved Federal Corvette, Xenostrike. I modified my normal Xenostrike build specifically for farming the Spire Sites alongside the commanders from AXI. I will also leave a link to this particular build in the description below. Note that this build would not be effective if there wasn't other commanders around with high DPS weapons. I have done the Spire site on my own, but in that case I switched out the 2 medium enhanced AX multi-cannons for Guardian Shard cannons, and I swapped out a 5D hull reinforcement for an AFMU, which then makes soloing the Thargoids at the Spire sites possible, but it's definitely much harder and takes a lot longer. With all that in mind, if you want to farm for credits at the Spire sites as quickly as possible, my recommendation is to get involved with AXI and just use a reasonably fast ship with a fully engineered build that includes long range lasers in your weapon loadout. As long as you have that, then you will be golden, and very rich shortly. That's it for this tutorial. If you enjoyed the video or it was helpful, then please do hit the like button, as it will help the video get seen by others. In the next episode I'm going to be going over how you can get off to a great start farming at the Thargoid Spire sites, so watch out for that. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. Until next time, see you out in the black, Commanders. 07.